So today I'm going to be ranking Kiss's 20 studio albums. I'm not going to be including the Alives compilation albums or the solo albums. And Kiss has 20 studio albums, so let's just jump right in. So in very last place at number 20, we can just go ahead and get this out of the way. Hot in the Shade is the worst Kiss album by far. It is just very cheesy, very 80s, like, I mean, it's very much a copy of like 80s hair bands that were out at the time, Def Leppard. I mean, the riff that's in Read My Body is the riff from Pour Some Sugar on Me. um and the best song is probably Hide Your Heart, and that was supposed to be on Crazy Nights anyway. um and Forever is the popular one on this album, but it's just kind of okay for me. And then, like, pretty much, uh I had to look it up because I don't even own it. So, Rise to It is fine. Betrayed is okay. Prisoner of Love sucks. Read My Body sucks. Love's a Slap in the Face sucks. Silver Spoon, nah. Cadillac Dream sucks. King of Hearts also sucks. The Street Giveth and the Street Taketh Away sucks as well. They all they all suck. Little Caesar is actually the other one that's probably okay. Eric Carr's song. That song is probably the only other tolerable song on this album. So in last place is Hot in the Shade. All right, so from here on out, I enjoy every other Kiss album. I'm just gonna say that now, get it out of the way. And I hate that this album has to be this low, but it's gonna have to be Psycho Circus, and you're gonna have to bear with the discs because I don't have the jewel cases right now. Um, yeah, I guess this album is this low because it's very stylistically inconsistent. Not that the songs are bad, but it just feels like none of them belong on an album together. They all sound like they're off on their own thing. Like Gene's doing a We Are One that's like a little more cheesy, and Within, which is like a leftover from Carnival of Souls, and then Peter's doing a ballad, and then Ace has Into the Void. He's doing his thing, and then Paul's got like Tommy and Bruce playing on his songs. So it's just like it's kind of all over the place, but I do enjoy the songs. I don't have anything really bad to say about it other than that point that I just made, that it's very inconsistent style wise, but I mean song wise I still enjoy them. So for now it's gonna have to stay in 19th place. So next up in 18th place, again, hate to put it this low because I do enjoy it, but it's gonna have to be Unmasked from 1980. It is a very pop oriented album, a lot of keyboards, and I think the main issue with this album is the production. It's kind of thin sounding, and there's not a lot of bottom end on it, just not a lot of meat, I guess. Um, but it's still got good songs. Is That You? Probably my favorite song on the album. And then Shandy, the popular one. Talk to Me, Naked City, love that song. What Makes the World Go Round, I enjoy that song. Tomorrow, cheesy as it is, I do love it. That song was definitely taking a shot at doing a radio hit that didn't land, but oh well. Two Sides of the Coin, I enjoy that song a lot. She's So European, cheesy but good. Easy as It Seems, I really like that song. Torpedo Girl is a fun song from Ace, and then You're All That I Want is good. So my least favorite songs on this album are probably Tomorrow and You're All That I Want, but other than that, it's still a good album, and unfortunately, it has to be in 18th place. Next up is the album that came after that, The Elder, coming in at 17th place. Um, this is the original version. It has the track listings all out of order. So, anyway, definitely having some more orchestral instruments on this album. Uh, it is very different from the rest of the discography, but that was the point because they were going to make it into a movie, and then that didn't work out. But I still think that there's plenty of good songs on this album. The Oath and Mr. Blackwell are probably like the heaviest songs on the album, I would say. And then Dark Light, I freaking love that song. Ace tears it up. That is like one of his best solos, I think. And Yeah, Only You, Under the Rose, World Without Heroes. That's the popular one off this album. Escape from the Island. That's a fun instrumental. Odyssey. I do like it, even though it's more or orchestral. And I. It is okay. That's probably like one of my least favorites on the album. It's a little more cheesy and I don't know. I guess they could have probably done without the was it clapping? No, it was snapping. They had snapping in the song. Yeah, it didn't need that. It also didn't need Paul Stanley's Elvis impersonation. Definitely could have done without that. But other than that, I still really do like The Elder, and a lot of fans are coming around to this album now, so that's good. But for now, it's gonna stay in a. We're in 16th place now, I think. I hope. That was not 16th place. We are now in 16th place. That was 17. Anyway, so now we are in 16th place, and it is going to have to be. We're going to jump forward 11 years to Revenge. That is very reflective. Anyway, there's some good stuff on this album. The good songs definitely outweigh the bad. Well, there's no bad songs. There's just more okay songs on this album. I think songs like oddly enough, God Gave Rock and Roll to You is not one of my favorites. Um, every time I look at you, that's kind of like Forever Part Two, and then I Just Wanna. It's just okay, but yeah, the good stuff on this album is really good. Unholy, Take It Off, Tough Love, Spit, Domino, Heart of Chrome, Thou Shalt Not, Paralyzed, and Car Jam. Not to the tribute to Eric Carr. So yeah, there's some. It is very heavy. Kiss album was probably a breath of fresh air after Hot in the Shade. So yeah, Revenge is going to be in 16th place. Up next in 15th place is the album that came after Revenge, Carnival of Souls. I am fortunate enough to have it on CD. Um, yeah, I put it above Carnival of Souls because I just, while it is a trendy album, I will admit I really enjoy it. I really do. There's probably only like one song on this album that I don't enjoy or like as much as the others, and that's In My Head. It's good and it's heavy like the rest of them, but I guess it just doesn't like click like the rest of them do. Like when I'm listening to Hate or Master and Slave or In the Mirror, I love that song. Um, and then you have Jungle. That's a other good really song. Other good really song. A really good other song on this album. Um, and yeah, I love it. Even if it is their grunge album and their trendy grunge album, I really do like it. So that's why it's in 15th place. Then from there, we are going to jump back 10 years to Crazy Nights in 14th place. Not a very liked album in the Kiss discography, but I like it quite frankly. Even though it does have its poppy and cheesy moments, like Bang Bang You, it is cheesy, and When Your Walls Come Down, not big on that song at all. And Turn on the Night, I'm like, it's okay. Not terrible, not great. But other songs like the title track, I'll Fight Hell to Hold You, love that song. His voice is great on that song. No, 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 it's probably the heaviest song on the album. Hell or High Water, My Way. Again, Paul tears it up on vocals on My Way. And Reason to Live, love that song. Good Girl Gone Bad, again, love it. And Thief in the Night, love that one as well. So, yeah, and I like all of Gene's songs on this album as well. So, yeah, it's really just like the three songs I think that are just like, okay. So, yep. 14th place is Crazy Nights. And then for 13th place, we're going to go to the album before Crazy Nights, Asylum from 1985. I really enjoyed this album except for Trial by Fire and Secretly Cruel. Two Gene songs I'm not very fond of on this album, but other than that, I like every other song. King of the Mountain, Any Way You Slice It, Who Wants to Be Lonely. A little more cheesy, but I still enjoy it. I'm Alive. I love that song. It kind of sounds like another Under the Gun like song. Love's Deadly Weapon. Love it. Tears Are Falling. That's a 80s Kiss classic for sure. And Radar for Love, that song rules. And All Night, cheesy as it is, I do enjoy that song. I like the overall sound of it. So Asylum is in 13th place. So then next up in 12th place, we are going to jump way ahead to 2009 with Sonic Boom. Really enjoy this album. Except for, I think, maybe two songs, Stand probably being the worst on this album. It definitely sounds like they're trying to rehash like another anthem or something, like a God Gave Rock and Roll to You or something like that, just not done nearly as well. And I don't know. And then the other one is probably what's Eric Singer's song? All for the Glory. All for the Glory, I don't dislike nearly as much as Stand, but it's still just kind of meh. I don't really love it or hate it. But other than that, there's classic stuff on this album: Modern Day Delilah, Russian Roulette. I love Dangerous, I'm an Animal, and even Tommy Thayer's song When Lightning Strikes. Even though if you can get over the Spaceman lyrics, it's still a musically good song. If you ever notice during the solo section, the rhythm guitars are doing the TNT riff from AC/DC, so I thought that was a pretty cool nod. But yeah, Sonic Boom is kind of overlooked by fans, and I think that they should try and give it another listen, but it is in my 12th place. And then in 11th place, we are going to go with the album that came out after Sonic Boom, Monster. I put them very close together because to me they are sister albums and they sound a lot alike. It just Monster doesn't have Stand. So that's pretty much why it's higher. I mean, there's still so many killer tracks on this album. Hell or Hallelujah, another classic. Wall of Sound, Freak. I love that song. I think the few I don't care for as much are probably Back to the Stone Age and All for the Love of Rock and Roll. Those are probably about it. Every other song I really enjoy, and I think that's pretty much. I think it's a good last album for Kiss. I think that they kind of hit the nail on the head, and then they can ride off in the sunset after that. I think they did a really good job for their last album. So I will say I think I like the production on Sonic Boom more than Monster, but I think the songs on Monster are just a tad better than Sonic Boom. But they're both great. They're both very close. So 11th place is Monster. All right, we have now made it into the top 10, and to kick off 10th place, we have the first album to feature Kiss without their makeup, Lick It Up. I freaking love this album. I think that there's probably only 3 okay songs on this album. The title track, Lick It Up, being one of them. All Hell's Breaking Loose, don't hate it, but it's more of just okay. And On the Eighth Day, again, don't hate any song on this album, but if I had to pick those 3, it would probably be like the more okay songs off this album. But I mean, you got Exciter, Not for the Innocent, Young and Wasted, that song rules. Gimme More, Million to One, love it. Fits Like a Glove, love Gene's screaming on that song. And after he did that, he was pretty much like, yeah, I'm not doing that again. And then Dance All Over Your Face. I love all of those songs. So, yep, Lick It Up is in 10th place. And then in 9th place, I'm making a really weird jump here, but I'm going all the way back to the beginning with the debut album from Kiss. And I think besides 2 songs, which would be Kissin' Time, very cheesy song, and Love Theme from Kiss, it's okay, it's just an instrumental, so don't really love it or hate it. But other than that, every other song on this album is a classic. Strutter, Nothing to Lose, Firehouse, Cold Gin, Let Me Know, Deuce, 100,000 Years, and Black Diamond. That's quintessential Kiss stuff right there. And stuff that they have played live a million times, except for Let Me Know. But Anyway, it deserves to be higher, I think, but for right now, it is going to stay in ninth place. And then after that, in eighth place, we are going to go with the third album, Dressed to Kill. Now, I love every song on this album, except for the one song that no Kiss fan ever needs to hear again, Rock and Roll All Night. And I'm not just saying that because it's overplayed. It's literally just, I think it's the weakest musically on the album. Um, every other song, Room Service, Two Timer, Ladies in Waiting, Getaway, Rock Bottom, Come On and Love Me, Anything for My Baby, She, Love Her All I Can. I don't get tired of any of those songs. I just don't. I love them all. And Dressed to Kill is in eighth place. I also forgot to note that Peter's drumming on this album is phenomenal. Probably the best drumming on any Kiss album he's ever done. So, hats off to Peter Criss. All right, so next up in seventh place, we are going to go with the second album, Hotter Than Hell. I really like that this disc is red. It kind of separates it from the rest of them. Yes, I know that the production on this album is very, very much sounds like it was recorded underwater, but it really doesn't take away from the songs for me. I mean, there's still plenty of classic stuff on here. Got to Choose, Parasite, Going Blind, Hotter Than Hell, Let Me Go, Rock and Roll, All the Way, Watching You, love that, studio and live. Mainline, Coming Home, and Strange Ways. Strange Ways freaking rules. Probably one of Peter's heavier songs. So yeah, if I had to pick a least favorite off this album, it would probably be Coming Home. Not because I hate the song or anything, but because it's just super muddy and the production is just really bad on that song. I mean, it sounds like someone put blankets over the microphones or something. I don't know. That song definitely sounds the worst to me, but I don't hate it by any means. So yes, Hotter Than Hell is a classic heavy original for Kiss album. So, and it is in seventh place. And then next up in sixth place we have Love Gun from 1977. Friggin' love this album. All but I think maybe two songs, Tomorrow and Tonight and Then She Kissed Me, are probably my least favorites on this album, but not very hate-worthy. But the good outweighs the bad on this album. I Stole Your Love, that's a killer of an opener. Christine 16, Got Love for Sale, Shock Me, first song to feature Ace on vocals. Love Gun, I always like the studio track, never get tired of the studio track. Live, I get a little more burnt out on it, but I don't get tired of studio track version of Love Gun. Hooligan, love it. Almost Human, I don't know what Ace is doing on guitar on that song. It's crazy. Some of the most crazy effects he's ever used. And Plaster Caster, all good songs. All good songs on Love Gun. So it is in sixth place. And next up, we have a classic album that would probably be in a lot of people's number ones, but for me, it is number 5, Destroya. What song on this album hasn't been played live? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, maybe like Sweet Pain or Great Expectations, Flamin' You. They actually played that when I saw them in 2016, so that was pretty special. But I mean, yeah, everything on this album is classic. Detroit Rock City, King of the Nighttime World, God of Thunder, Sweet Pain, Shout It Out Loud, Beth, Do You Love Me? I mean, it's all classic stuff, and like most of these songs have been in their set since the album came out, so there you go. If I had to pick a least favorite, I'd probably go with Beth, not because I hate it or anything, and I love Peter Criss, but I don't know, it's kind of a weird, it has a weird spot on the album, and I don't know, I don't want to say it's a filler track, but it almost feels like that to me. It just doesn't do that much for me, I guess, but I still love the album as a whole. So 5th place is Destroyer. All right, 4th place. I've kind of been dreading this, but I may get some kind of eyebrows raised at me for this, but it is my favorite non-makeup album ever, and it's gonna be 1984's Animalize. I know, how dare I, right? How dare I put it above Destroyer and Love Gun and everything else I've named so far? But I mean, I really do not dislike a single song on Animalize. I really don't. I can't find one that I would think that doesn't belong on this album. I mean, it is all I've had enough. Killer opener. That's probably like one of the best openers on any album they've had. Heaven's on Fire. I like the studio track more than live. Burn Be Burn. I love it. Get All You Can Take. That song rips. Lonely as the Hunter. I love it. Under the Gun. Love that one too. That one rips as well. Throws in the Night. I love it. And While the City Sleeps and Murder in High Heels. I love it all. And Mark St. John's playing on this album is out of this world. It is really otherworldly. Too bad he only played on one album, but what can you do? If I really had to pick a least favorite, I guess maybe I'd go with Lonely as the Hunter, because it is the same riff through the entire song, I guess, but that doesn't make it bad to me. But anyway, okay, I got it over with. Animalize in 4th place. I'm sorry. All right, we've made it to the top 3, and this is my favorite Kiss album to feature all 4 original members. Rock and Roll Over. Freaking love this album. It rules on every level. I Want You, Take Me, Calling Dr. Love, Ladies Room, Baby Driver, Love 'Em and Leave 'Em, Mr. Speed, See You in Your Dreams. Still love that song, and I like this album. I like this version more on this album than Gene's solo album. Hard Luck Woman, like it as a ballad a little more than Beth, so there you go. And it closes with Making Love. Freaking awesome. I love that album. I love the sound on this album as well. It's not quite as polished as Destroyer, and it's not quite as raw as Hotter Than Hell. It's like a nice middle ground, and it still has like a raw kind of sound to it, but not quite too, overproduced. So I love the sound on this record, and I love the songs on them. And yep, my favorite album to feature all original Kiss members. And in 2nd place, we have a longtime favorite of mine, Dynasty. Absolutely love this album. Not a disco album. There's a couple disco-esque songs on this album, but it is not a disco album. There's still some good rock-heavy songs on this album. I Was Made for Loving You, their most popular one. 2000 Man, cover for me, so I still like his version more than the original. Sure Know Something, Dirty Livin', I love that song from Peter. One of my favorites. Charisma, cheesy, but I love it. Magic Touch, absolutely love it. Hard Times, a really good one from Ace. Love his solo on that song. X-Ray Eyes, cheesy again, but I love it. And Save Your Love, good closer to the album. Ace closes out the album, so there you go. I've always loved Dynasty, and I still do, and it has made my number 2. All right, we have made it to numero uno, and it is Creatures of the Night. Absolutely freaking love this album, and I always have. I love the sound on this album. I love the songs on this album. Even I Love It Loud, which people are burnt out on live. I am, for sure. But studio track, I don't get tired of it. I really don't. And the drum sound on this album, you can't duplicate it. They themselves have never duplicated it. And I know this album has like a weird hodgepodge of other musicians coming in, Steve Ferris, Robin Ford, and I feel like I'm leaving someone out. But like rhythm guitars, people were playing all kinds of different things. People weren't really playing their the band wasn't necessarily playing their instruments throughout the entire album, as has been the case in many other Kiss albums. But this one is sort of like a Psycho Circus and Dynasty. You know, it's like you don't really know who played what. But that being said, I still freaking love Creatures of the Night, and I'm kind of surprised it made my number one. I mean, this list could be subject to change at some point, but for now, I'm leaving Creatures of the Night as my number one.